Hey, Maria back with another video. It is 10:40 a.m. It is February 5th, Monday morning. Happy Monday to everyone who watches my videos. Chances are you might be at work right now and you might be checking your phone or maybe like looking at this on your computer screen while you should be working. And if that's the case, you're gonna need to pay your attention to what you're doing, get back to hell, and then watch my video sometime later. Anyway, so I'm just kind of sitting here putting together some stuff on my bed, trying to get everything cleaned up. And so I thought, I do feel like I need to talk a little bit. I would say that my videos are in tune with my mood. Like, bubbly, happy times to me are kind of rare. There are those times where, I'll think of something amusing, like stupid scenarios or jokes or some sort of skit. Sometimes I like to just mess with my son for no apparent reason, just to see him get a reaction out of him. Now, I've been like this since I was a kid, so like I'll make up some stupid bullshit and tell my son something, right? Just to see what he does. I'm like that because it's just a part of my enjoyment. It's part of my sense of humor, right? Um, but for the most part, I am very like downtrodden with just the whole issue of the drama. Okay, and so I do sometimes step away to enjoy some moments of absurdity, to find some sort of enjoyment. But I posted a video a few days ago, and it had this like little emoji with it was called not sad or happy or not happy or sad. I forgot the name of the video, but anyway, it basically had this little face on there, and it didn't have an upward smile and it didn't have a downward frown. It was just kind of straight line, And I'm starting to think that this is the definition of what most people think is happy. Now, I know that sounds kind of really ridiculous, but it's like, people look at my life and the vibes that I get from people, they think that, like, I'm happy. You know what I mean? And I will tell you, my definition of happy is doing a hell of a lot more than what I'm doing now. Okay? I'm the kind of person, I need intensity. I need intensity. You know what I mean? I was literally somebody who, not really saying like intensity of like it's anything like, controversial, even if it was, I mean, really, I don't do anything to hurt anybody, but at the same time, I do want to have adventures in my life. Like, I don't want to just sit here as a 53-year-old woman and realizing that most of my life just kind of passed me by. You know what I mean? That I had no control over. Like, I feel like there's parts of me that wants to go back to certain parts of my life that I feel like I missed out on. You know what I mean? And it's very healing for me. Like, there's certain times where, I think I would say childhood, anywhere from 3 years old to 6 years old, I tend to gravitate towards like little bright, shiny color type things, stuffed animals, stuff like that sort of stuff. No, it's like I said, I don't sit here and like, I'm not confused with reality. I'm a completely functional adult, but I'm finding ways to deal with what, emotional trauma or just, yeah, healing in some way, you know what I mean? And finding some sort of true comfort from it. Like, I can't tell you how therapeutic my stuffies make me feel. Like, they're so soothing to me, and they're so cute and lovable to look at, you know what I mean? Whereas, sometimes that's the only person you can confide in is an ancestor that may be inhabiting that stuffy or the stuffy itself, that the way it was bought or whatever. Do I believe that there's some sort of vibrational life in my stuffies? I'm going to say there's vibrational life in everything. Like, people talk about that energy, like plants are alive. There's, things have life in them, okay? Even they may not be talking and they may not be able to, sprout legs and walk. It still has a vibration. And yes, it does have some sort of reaction and feel to it, okay? But anyway, but I'm like pretty cool with it. Like, I'm not weird about it. Like, I wouldn't Like, for example, if I had a guest over for dinner, I'm not gonna like prepare a little seat for my stuffy or anything. At least not in front of them. Right? No, but see, I think some people, what they want to do is they want to like make you out to be somebody who's, la la land or whatever. But there's so many people my age and older who have, interest in things. Like I know my Froggy stuff. I love her channel. I love her channel. When I'm in like an up, up, up mood, I love watching her channel. The reason why is because everything about her channel is up, up, up. It's very positive, and she's got like, these great decorative skills. She does great things with dolls. I love dolls. I love the imaginary world of dolls. I like playing dolls. I wish I had a little girl around so I could sit here and get in her little kitchen area and start making make-believe pies. Right? I enjoy that stuff. So there's a part of me that did want to have something to do with like children. Like, there was a time where they used to have like Barnes and Noble where you can like read stories to children and stuff. Yeah, I like the children world. You know what I mean? But I recognize that this is like a gift or an interest that I have, but I'm not crazy. It's just something like, some people like doing certain things and maybe that there's a good reason for it. You know what I mean? That's not just healing, but it's also beneficial. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I would love playing these imaginary games so much, like the Barbies. Like I had this whole like script written out of like what my Barbie was going to do. And most of the time I made her a Broadway actress, okay? Like my sister would be getting a little tired of playing the Barbie game and she would want to go to the bathroom or whatever. She was just looking for any excuse to ditch me. She wanted to stop playing Barbies, right? And I'm like, man, I wish she would like play more. So, anyway, my point is that I would be a little girl's best friend, like if I was to like, babysit one or whatever, because I could play for hours and hours and hours and hours. So many things you can do with Barbie, especially in her dream house, right? But anyway. No, I do. I have an imagination. I'm not afraid to use it, and it's an enjoyment of life. I think sometimes people get confused about what makes a person an adult, what makes them a responsible person. You know what I mean? I know that I've got two notices from the IRS. I'm not in any position to be able to pay them right now. Okay. But I know deep down inside, eventually, hopefully, if I can do anything about it, because a lot of things are beyond my control right now. They just are, okay? Just due to we don't even need to go there, but we know that it is, okay? So once I do, and if and when I do, they will definitely get paid. Okay. I mean, I take care of those sort of things. And there was a time when I was younger, I think a lot of people, when they're young, they don't really take care of their responsibilities. But as I got older, like I was in my 30s, I was pretty panned out. I understood that I have responsibility. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But I'm in a situation where I shouldn't be in. Okay. So bills are piling up, IRS. And what I'm pointing out is if I was somebody who is emotionally or mentally unstable, somebody who lived in La La Land and just wanted to play Barbies all day and get lost in the Barbie world and started confusing reality with her imaginary playtime, then there would be a reason for concern. Obviously, I'm aware of adult responsibilities, and quite frankly, I think they're a drag. But yeah, you got to do it right. So anyway, but when I was thinking about the little emoji being like just kind of a straight line, and people who think of me and when I'm picking up these energies, they're like, she's happy. She's happy. And I'm thinking, like I said, my idea of happiness is completely different than most people's. Like, like I'm sitting here right now. If I had the ability to, if I felt like it and had the means to do it, I would get in my car and do something spontaneous. Like I would probably, drive somewhere to another state. That is, of course, if I didn't have this driving issue. Okay, I've always liked things spontaneous. And but I guess I'm glad other people think that I'm happy. I'm not in any way trying to seem ungrateful for not being alive. It's just that, everything that's happened, it's very difficult for me to be happy. You know what I mean? Is being happy, being able to have food in the refrigerator, is that happy? because that makes me happy. That's nice. I'm content with that. But what exactly is it that people? Why do people think that I'm happy? You know what I mean? It's funny because it's like I don't know. I think that some people think that I have a lot, but really, when you think about it, I don't. Like, I deal with a lot of trust issues. Most people that imagine being someone like me and never being able to trust anyone. That's really sad, really, because all you've known is weird people, perps, Nazis, whatever. Okay, that's all you've ever known. And every time you did meet somebody, you have to kind of question who they are, what is their motive, why are they there, what are you trying to gather, that sort of stuff. And it's a very, it should be an understandable situation, I mean, or issue that people would show empathy to. Okay, I know that in my past I had read books about victims of human trafficking. I'm talking like human trafficking to the point of where they literally were like transported, across different lines and stuff like that. And they dealt with traumatizing experiences where like in my case, nobody physically laid a hand on me, okay, but there was always like threats of my life. Cutting me off financially is just like killing somebody, okay. That's what they do to the homeless people. Let's just get real here. But anyway, um, where was I going with this? That oh shit, oh man. I was talking about, um, oh fuck, I totally forgot. I'm just like running my mouth here. But anyway, I'm having some problems with dealing with the problem of, oh yeah, the people thinking that I'm happy. Um, I have a hard time dealing with that because, like I said, I've only dealt with, being traumatized by other people. And I think that the scenario that I was trying to describe earlier before I lost my train of thought, I looked at the TV screen and then it just all vanished. But when it comes to that, um, it gets hard because my happiness really isn't something that I can I can feel. I can't feel happy because or whatever. I feel like there's always blockages to my happiness. Like, dealing with what I dealt with, you're always going to question whether people are sincere or they're dealing with double agents. I will tell you, when it comes to people who they want to be in your energy, like they hate you. Because like, I had some like what I call, how they call people frenemies. I have what I call fanamies. Okay, like they hate my fucking guts, but at the same time, they kind of like admire me so much that they pick me apart because they're doing it because they're jealous, because they kind of wish they were me in some sick, weird way. I deal with that a lot, and not all of them. Some of them are just straight out lunatics. Some of them are just outright racist. Some of them just want to like talk about a religion that they know nothing about and they want to attack you. There's that little mixed bag of just weird people who want to hate and they find some sort of justification for it. But I deal with that a lot. I mean, in the past I did. I can't say that I've been dealing with any animosity in a long time, from anyone. I think most people have been very like, decent, accommodating. I know when I go to the store, people seem very accommodating, which is, cool, I guess. But, I'm just thinking like, in the past where I've dealt with people who may have assumed that, you know, I wasn't all together. You know what I mean? And because of the campaign smears, I know that when you're dealing with human trafficking, gaslighting, and what gaslighting, gang stalking. I haven't used that word in such a long time. One of the ways that they get people to turn against you, okay, who may not know you as well, is to say that you're mentally ill. or tell people that you're crazy. And anytime that you do something that that seems a little different, people say, "Hey, look at that person! Look at that person." But like I said, there's a lot of people my age and older who like dolls. There's like, things on Facebook. Like I look at the little reels where they show people with their little miniature doll houses. I love the miniature cooking thing. Like I could just watch people make things in these little tiny ovens and pull out like little loaves of bread, and I just get so inspired. Like I really want to do that myself. I like that kind of stuff, and obviously adults are into that stuff, and I think it's a good thing for them to take that time out and delve into that world, because people have very hectic lives. You know what I mean? And it makes them feel a little bit better. Like I know if I had a beautiful dollhouse, chances are the quality of their house would probably be a lot better than my apartment. It's also a way that you could possibly use as a tool to magnetize what it is that you really want. It's like a miniature or an, im- a miniature tool for manifestation, right? You could look at it that way too. I mean, some people like collecting miniature cars. They like, their Mustangs, their classic muscle cars and stuff like that. In reality, they can't afford any of those cars, okay? But they can afford the miniature. You know what I mean? So, and then in hopes one day that they will, of course, be able to own that car. You know what I mean? So there's magic to me in everything, right? But no, I can't say that I'm happy. Happiness for me is more. Like I feel like I want to create more. Okay, and like I said, there's a lot of stagnation that's going on in my life, and I know, like, I deal with the psychological issues of turning on my computer sometimes. Okay, with some people, they don't understand how this could psychologically affect a person to be um, chased or deal with cyberbullying or anything like that. But I'm the kind of person who picks things apart. Okay, the reason why people now understand this whole issue of cloning, now that people understand that, I just came to the realization that all of this had really very little to do with my family, but more about some sort of issue that was bigger than the whole thing, is because I bring clarity to situations, because I analyze everything. And this is something that I failed to get acknowledged for when it came to anything that I did outside, outside. Like, for example, if I did something at work, it was always overlooked, or some asshole would claim credit for it. This is the kind of shit that I had to deal with. Like, I never got acknowledged for that. They did not want to see me as an analytical person. They wanted to see me as an artist. I was an artist. And the reason why they wanted to avoid labeling me as someone who was analytical, because this was a racial issue. Because if I'm an analytical person, how could that be? Our goal is to make sure that everybody believes that there is no such thing as a person of color with intelligence. This is exactly what I got from that. And I had a bunch of people conspiring in this little what do you call it, bullshit game. Even going so far to, hide evidence relating to a stupid test that I took over at Passive Aggressive Stupidity. Yeah, that's acronym, so I'm not going to say the wrong name. And yeah, you have to forgive me for me, like, throwing out all this venting and shit like this, and people might be feeling attacked because they're like, you're dredging all this up. Okay, you deserve to be put in front of a firing squad for what you did. Okay, and so therefore, for me to release my true statement, my statement that is justified in every single way, I deserve compensation. I continue to be shit on. So therefore, I'm going to say this is fair, right? So anyway, yeah, I dealt with a lot. And there is a lot of anger that's going to be inside me for a very, 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 very long time. There are times where I wake up and I just feel it. There are some times where I'm actually having a pretty cool day, and it doesn't actually hit me till, like, sometimes that I'm, like, laying down in bed, because I never received justice. And I kept thinking, and this, I'm being honest, okay? Everything that I say, I'm a very real person. Sometimes I'm a little too real for some people. You know what I mean? Because my personality is different than most people, I am somebody who doesn't see the point in sugarcoating something. You know, this whole idea about transparency, this suddenly became like a popular thing. I personally think somehow or another people started doing that because of me. I have always been direct. Because I don't believe that transparency, well, not transparency, I don't believe that beating around the bush is going to be effective. You know what I mean? If you don't tell somebody exactly what, or you don't give people, pay people back measure for measure for the injustices that they have caused you, there's always going to be that imbalance, and it's not going to be good. Somebody's going to feel the pain from that, and I have felt it. And this sounds harsh as hell, but you know, the thing is, in my mind, I said a few days ago that I could never abuse somebody, meaning I could never hurt somebody or wish something ill on somebody who never did anything to me to hurt me, right? Why would I wish harm on somebody who never hurt me? That's one of the reasons why we like babies so much, is because they have an innocence about them. They can't even comprehend that right now, right? So when it comes to my issue of why I feel as though it's one of those issues where like somebody, like, okay, like for example, if somebody harmed your child. Okay, you see people like maybe a mother might have lost her child. Maybe somebody came and did something to their child or whatever, and she's completely distraught, and she can't replace people. Okay, so she's sitting here wanting justice. You know what I mean? If possible, she would go to their execution. Okay, in my mind, you know, I feel as though my time, my life is valuable. Okay, I was devalued in this entire issue. Human trafficking is huge. Okay, this is a form of human trafficking, trafficking me where I go, what I do, making sure that everybody was a part of the program in their little campaign of harassing Maria, right? So when I think about this, and they understood, they at least understood. They may not have understood it in terms of, you know, the Joseph Mengele thing, how deep this really is, but they did understand it on the level that I am a black woman with superior traits, and therefore I must be suppressed. Here in the United States, people should have like thought about this is a legal issue. Like these human resource people should have been like, okay, wait a second, if this is a clone that just so happens to be designed from African ancestral background or whatever, she exhibits superior traits. We're going to put her in the workplace and we're going to fuck her shit up. Why? You know, why would that sit here and go under the radar or not be noticed by these human resources? Because they were fucking corrupt. So I dealt with something that, and I saw something that shouldn't have taken place. Like, how is it that you couldn't have known that? You know what I mean? It was, or it was deliberate, and they knew exactly what was going. So there was no point in me going through the mediation session at this stupid employer's place, right? They put me through. We're gonna get a mediator to try to calm you down. It's like trying to tell me I had a fucking problem, bitch. I don't have a fucking problem. So all they did was, of course, they gave me some stupid DVD, some Bill Cosby DVD that's supposed to relate to. I didn't even fucking watch it. I wasn't gonna put that in my fucking what? Stupid, right? You know, this whole thing to me, it pisses me off. But what I was saying is, it's like I want justice. I deserve justice. I deserve, you know, to have sued that farmer. I deserve to have sued Karen. Okay, and all the other places that I had to go to. And so because I am sitting here in this situation, always wondering, always questioning my fate, you know what I mean? Always wondering, you know, who, what, when, you know, all the little puppeteers and the puppeteering and all this other stuff. Why should I always have to live in a constant state of worry when these people have these, you know, they're wicked. They're wicked. Plain and simple. How is it I could not see it any other way? Like I said, you could take Joseph Mengele out of the equation. You understood that I was a person who of color who was always being competed against. You know what I mean? Unnecessarily singled out. You know what I mean? And they participated in it. So therefore, when I look at this issue, I know how to see things in a just manner. You know what I mean? And if I was, let's just say, for example, I was the ultimate, and I'm not, okay? I'm not, okay? But I wish these people, like, I was thinking about, I was actually going to name this video, um, gosh, about something relating to a baseball bat. Because when I get angry with a person, I said earlier about me not being able to abuse a person. I cannot abuse a person who's innocent. But yes, I could. If I had the ability, if somebody said, Maria, it's legal, go ahead and unleash on these people, you do whatever you want to do. Something along those lines, believe me, I would. I would, because the hatred is justified, and I would do whatever I did. I would tear these people apart. But most of all, I think I would probably splat their heads open with a baseball bat. For some reason, that seems like that would be extremely satisfying. And you know what? I have a sound effect for it. It goes like this. Like you're just like their head just like it bust open. And you can call me, oh, that's barbaric. No, it's not barbaric. You know what? It's fucking goddamn justice that I fucking deserve. See, and like I said, people really don't like how raw I am. Okay, but like I said, raw gets the point across. The point across is that I've been wronged and I deserve justice. And of course, I have the right to be angry. It is stupid for somebody to say, "Get over it." Get over it. As I'm calling my fucking credit card companies, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pay this right now. As I'm sitting here, skirting the IRS, 2 notices already sent to my house right now. This kind of bullshit. It's like, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's because I was targeted. You know what I mean? So I do. I mean, it's stupid to think that I should just be sitting here like being okay with it or not being able to release it. I have the right to release it. I certainly do. I certainly do have the right to feel angry. I have the right to be upset. I have the right to want to have justice. And I have the right to have those dark thoughts, okay, that actually make me quite happy when I think about them. Because you know why? I'm only human. Okay. Now, I know what people think of me because I know that these Egyptian people were considered to be deities. They were considered to be gods. Okay. I don't claim to be the almighty God. Okay. But I do believe that I come from people who are of a great power. And that's cool as hell. You know what it is. But I do admire the fact that I do come from the bloodline of Solomon, like King Solomon. And I do believe that not only is it experience, but I also do believe that my views are divine. I do believe that. The reason why is because they pick through things, they see through things, they lead me, they guide me. And I believe that. You know what I mean? I'm extremely spiritual. So I do know that there's issues, I know like we talked about this whole bullshit about the religion thing. And, I'm sorry that this happened because, you know, um, uh, I love my relationship with the divine. My, I do, I love that. Would I like to step out and have more of a little bit more of secular life, like, going out and doing different things, having the opportunity to mingle with people that would accept me as for who I am without trying to pick me apart, lower my standards, and harm me in any way? Um, yeah, I would love that. I want to be around people who have the same sort of standards as me, preferably. Okay. Um, meaning, like, that doesn't mean that a girl has to like Hello Kitty. It doesn't mean that she has to like clothes. She may be somebody. I mean, I've been friends with girls who were kind of dressed down, or at least I wouldn't say friends since these people were probably perps, but you know what I mean. Before I was, anyway, but I prefer being around people. It makes sense. Like if you have certain hobbies, you want to be around people who have those hobbies because you want something to center your relationship with. But yeah, I mean, but I would say the big part of my life is spirituality and being tapped in. I love being tapped in. I like being receiving messages. Sometimes it's not always good because sometimes the messages themselves really are kind of something that kind of puts you down, like makes you sad or makes you angry. And I've been sad and I've been angry for a very, very long time. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. But I want to say that making videos does keep me company in a lot of ways. There's times where I don't feel like conversing because I'm having some sort of mental collapse. Um, when people, like, for example, people who are dealing with human trafficking, their main goal is to find safety. They want to find safety. And the one thing that prevents them from having that sort of safety is the fact that, like, when in these sort of networks, okay, where you're dealing with, for example, we're going to call him, here's Mark, okay? Here's Mark, and her, what do you call it? Here's Valerie, okay? Valerie's nemesis, okay? Or the person who's perping her, trying to destroy her life, create problems. Oh, her name is Wendy, okay? So Wendy is constantly putting bugs in Mark's ear about blah, 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 to try to get this person to instigate some sort of action towards this other person. This is how the manipulation works. So, within my toxic, what do you call it? My toxic entourage, surprise, surprise. Like, not that I remember signing up for this entourage, but like I said, I do have some decent, cool people in this thing, but it is what it is. So this is where the toxicity comes. Okay, so where this girl wants to literally sever ties with the people who have abused her. It's too traumatizing. By dealing with something for that long period of time, it is very unlikely that the people who were perping her or after her have changed their heart truly. And the reason why I say this is because the only reason it for the duration that it's taken. Okay, like here's 2015, 16, 17, 18. Each year there's some sort of video being put out talking about why this is wrong. I'm talking about the legal, the moral, the spiritual issues as to why it's wrong. And they're still sitting here trying to attempt to fuck with you, to intervene in your life some way. Okay, this is a goddamn demon. I want it shut out of my life. Okay, so this is why I'm saying, and I did a video too one time, do not expect me to deal with carriers or messengers. Meaning, like, if I'm talking to somebody, I expect the conversation to be one on one. I don't expect it to be, well, let me go ahead and tell so and so. I don't have so and so's. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the truth. If somebody's saying that they're my friend, pretending to be my friend, acting like my friend, meaning like, saying, well, do this, or say that, spy on her and tell me what she's doing, blah, 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 they're fucking goddamn lying. I don't have any fucking friends. That sounds kind of sad and pathetic, but in this case, it's cool and it's like makes me feel triumphant because I have the ability to decipher who's good in my life and who's not. Okay. So I deal with a lot of what you call outside intrusion, and I don't want it in my personal life. Like I told you before, I prefer my environments to be separate. Like I can deal with bullshit at work, and when I come home, I want that shit separate. I want it separate. I don't want people being like brainwashed. I don't want any of that shit. All that nasty, vile shit that I have to deal with out in the outside world, I want it shut out in my household, which I have the right to do. You know what I mean? And so, I made a video last night about talking about, I feel like really unhappy because I feel as though, you know, sincerity within friendships, newfound friendships and stuff is just very difficult to find because, these people to me are full on goddamn demonic. You know what I mean? They are basically put me in a slavery program, right? Because they felt as though they had some sort of right over me, and I'm not comfortable with that. Anybody who would think that I'm supposed to be doing shit that either my blood relations say, or my adoptive family says, or whatever, thinking that it's okay to drag me along and put me in situations where I'm dealing with abuse and stuff like that, it is crazy. You know, it's sick to me. And it's like I know better. I know better. So I am. I'm a person who knows better, has higher level intellectual abilities than the majority of people. That's one of the reasons why I was always being competed against in the workplace. That's why, you know, and it gets tiring. And for this, because of this becoming was a work issue, just part of the issue. Okay, part of the issue. It's like I'm being affected by it. So it should be of no surprise when I have that fantasy about taking that baseball bat to people's skulls. It shouldn't be any surprise at all, you know, because I dealt with something that technically I should be compensated. Should have been compensated from the get go. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go on and on and on about this, but I need to heal. I like I said, I don't have a therapist. You know what I mean? I know Nazis were involved in this. The reason why I'm in this situation is because it was a Nazi plan from get go. I'm never comfortable with that. I don't sit here feeling happy. I feel, very mentally off a lot of times. Not in the point of where I need to be hospitalized or somebody needs to um, worry about me because obviously I'm able to take care of myself and function. But that's very sick. You know what I mean? There's, like I said, there's some human trafficking victims who've gone through horrible, horrible things, and all they want to do is be able to start a life over again. But they have a difficult time doing it because of their social circle. And this is one of the reasons why they're like, okay, well, I got to cut you off. I'm cutting you off because if you're a carrier or you're either a carrier or you're a messenger, I'm cutting you off too, because it gets too much. It's too much. I don't need somebody carrying a message from, like, for example, my sister Lisa. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay, she knew for fucking 50 something years that these people were doing what they were doing, and how could something positive come out of that? Or she was jealous because I was related to a celebrity or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, there was no true love for me. She knew I was suffering and watched it and happened and let it happen. I will tell you what, if I knew that my if I cared about my sibling, which chances are I probably would, okay, in a different scenario, and I knew that there was some sort of weird plan to do this sort of activity to the sibling that was adopted, or whether it was my blood or adopted, I would step in. I would. I don't care who I made an oath to. You know why? Because the love for my sibling would supersede anything. The love and the need to protect that person would supersede anything. Okay? Does that seem disobedient? Maybe. I don't think it. To me, it's like I recognize it for what it is. It's crooked. It's twisted. It's wrong. It's wrong. You don't do it. Okay? Because maybe it's because I have knowledge, and then most people don't. They don't think about, what does this mean? What is this for? Why are they doing it? You know what I mean? Why? If my sister thought that I was the Antichrist, why would she think that? Why would she think that? You know what I mean? And why would she make fun of me, studying the Bible when I was younger? If I was supposed to be the Antichrist, shouldn't she be happy that I'm studying the Bible? Like that should be helping her understand that that's not even fucking possible. Like I said, the Bible was a part of my early origins too. You know what I mean? It's just that when it came to the what do you call it, the abuse that goes on within the church walls by people who are members of it, or people who certain denominations of it, just made me think, man, this is bullshit. Not Christ itself, not him. It's the people. It's the hypocrisy that, and this is like I'm saying, it's like people get shit confused, and then I ended up like going through all this issue, but that's not true. They should have known that they should have not used the Antichrist thing on me, because there was no way in the world that they should have known, especially from my origins, okay? Knowing that I was going to Bible study, knowing that I was reading the Bible. I mean, I was studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, but they are still under the Christian denomination. And there were times where I did attend the Christian churches and see if if it meshed well with me and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm just going through all of this, trying to like clear out my brain, because it's a lot for me to deal with. It really is. It's like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was basically targeted for my race, and and they resented my superior traits. I'm not a threat to the white race. If it hurts their feelings, I think that was part of the reason why they were trying to bully me so much, because like, they want you to dim down, dim down, dim down, and really I have the right to shine as bright as I want to. You know what I mean? It's not an act of defiance. It's just I have the right to engage in my hobbies. You know what I mean? But see, they think that a racist person will always think that everything that you do as a person of color is a personal concern of theirs. Like when I get when I get dressed, or like I say, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm putting on a blazer. I'm like, oh, this blazer, I love the purple. I'm going to add a scarf to it. I'm not. I it never crosses my mind to think I'm dressing so much better than white people today. It never fucking crosses my mind. I don't think about white people as a whole. Like as individuals, okay, I do. Like I'm thinking, okay, I remember this particular actor or this particular singer or whatever, and they just so happen to be white. I think about them, like, or I'll remember some kid in school or something like that, but they just happen to be white. But I don't sit here thinking with like vendettas or thoughts in my plans. I don't give a shit what people do. You know what I mean? But when you deal with people who are conducting or being a participants of a hate crime, oh, they are all up in it. They are so in it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I think I've said enough. And I know people are thinking, man, she's really brave. She just says whatever she fucking wants. On my channel, Maria's going to say whatever the fuck she wants, okay? And like I said, I think I've been a pretty good girl when it comes to dealing with my social interactions. Nobody can say that I've ever spoken out of turn, unless, of course, they started it first. Um, but anyway, I'm at my best behavior today, so I'm going to wrap up this video. I'll be back with another video sometime later. Hey, take care. Bye-bye.